that we should have ever have used. So we've got to get this economy moving again. President Obama is doing everything he said he would do. He said he was going to take on health care. He's doing that. And I don't understand all these people so angst on the issue of debate on health care. That's what the general election was all about last year. Everybody talked about health care. He's doing exactly what he said he would do. He's having to deal with a tremendous mess. The economy was on the verge of total collapse when he took office. You forget about what Secretary Paulson and everybody had said in October. If we don't act in the next 24 hours, the entire world economy could collapse. That's what President Obama was handed. So my gut is we're going to get something done on health care. It may not be what everybody in this room wants, but you know what? We're going to get something, and as soon as we can churn these economic numbers, we're on a monthly basis, we're not losing jobs, but we're creating, I think the entire psyche will change. Right now, it is a tough environment. We'll probably lose some seats in the Senate. We've got some tough seats. Illinois is a tough seat for us to defend if you go around the country. Colorado is a very tough seat for us to defend. We've got some vulnerable Democrats and Chris Dodd and Blanche Lincoln. We have a lot of tough races, but we have all these governorships up. So 2010 is going to be a challenging year for all of us. But I'm excited, but I'm always the ultimate optimist. I do think we get health care done. We're going to get financial services regulation done. I'm not sure what we get done on cap and trade and energy legislation. And I do believe the economy is going to come back. The only thing I will say is I think it's going to be a slow recovery, folks. If you think we are going to, you see this huge jump in jobs, I just think it's going to be slow and steady. As you know, we need to create 200,000 jobs per month just to keep up with population growth. Now we have 17.5 million people lost their jobs. So you add those numbers in, and what we need to do for population growth, that's how difficult this job is to create these jobs. But unless we start getting into green energy and new industries here in America, it's not going to happen. So that's 2010, and then finally 2012 is a long way off. But listen, President Obama is going to win re-election. I don't know who is going to run on the other side. I've been out giving a lot of speeches. I see Paul Wente out. I see Romney. Sarah Palin is back. She's out with a new book. But it's really too early to tell. But I will give President Obama tremendous credit. He is doing what he said he would do. He has dealt a very tough hand. No one remembers that George Bush was president of the United States. They forget about Katrina. They forget about Terry Schiavo. They forget about the two wars. They forget all that. It's now President Obama, and I think he's doing a great job. But for all of us in this room, for us to win elections here in Virginia across the country, we have got to give people a reason to vote for us. You can't be negative in the sense that's what your campaign is about. You've got to lay a predicate. Here's what I stand for, and if you elect me, here's what I will do for you. And you have got to mobilize those independents. President Obama proved, if you get them out to vote, historic win in Virginia, North Carolina, Florida, Colorado, and Nevada, a lot of New Mexico, a lot of states that have been difficult. Their voters are there, but you got to get them energized. And I think, if you were to ask me, clearly our base was not, or the independents were not energized to vote in the election last November here in Virginia, and we paid a very, very tough price. And I don't have to tell the delegates here what you're going to have to deal with now that we have redistricting coming up. I have no illusions how tough they're going to draw these lines. And the problem is we're going to have to live with these lines for the next 10 years. So it's a big battle, but I'm optimistic. We've got to get the state party up and running. We've got to get our machinery up and going. We have the folks. We just got to energize them. So I'm ready to help energize. So let's go to questions. Please.
I heard on the radio recently that only 35% of Americans think climate change is an important issue. I'm wondering what expectations, if any, you have for the Copenhagen meeting, and what hopes, if any, you have for people in the U.S. coming to a realization of how major that issue is.
Yeah, it's a good question. I think let's put in the context, too, of these memos that have come out over the last month. I cannot tell you the irreparable harm and damage that has done. You're all aware of these memos where they say all these people involved in doing climate change data saying we've got to, basically some of them are making up stuff. We just got to lay it out. That's been very damning to the cause. And I feel bad for President Obama now having to go to Copenhagen and deal with that with all this laying out there. The House passed cap and trade. My gut today is you're not going to see it out of the United States Senate. It's just not going to pass out of the Senate. It's my personal probably guesstimate today. So we're going to have to go back and deal with climate change legislation. But it gets wrapped into the broader in many people's mind, climate change legislation somehow is going to cost us jobs. And the other side has been very effective on saying, this is going to put me out of business. So until we deal with that, until the economy gets better, I think it's, for the next year or two, it's going to be a very difficult process to go through. You saw the politics here in Virginia on cap and trade. It's a tough issue. The Senate doesn't want to deal with it. I mean, the Senate, they're trying to do something on financial services, which is another top priority for President Obama. It's not going to happen this year. There just is no floor time left. I mean, you can't get floor time because of health care. That's why the sooner we can get health care and deal with it, then we can get to the, you look at how many days are left, there's just no time left on the floor to debate these big, huge key issues. 2010 is going to be a big year. A lot of people say, we've got the congressionals, we're not going to get a lot of controversial issues. That's not the case. What I love about President Obama, let's go do it. And let the chips fall where they may. So, I mean, I give him tremendous credit for that.
But you just said that you thought we could do something on financial reform.
We are going to do something next year.
Do you think it's going to have an impact on exactly the reasons we got into this situation, and why do you think it will have that impact?
Yeah, clearly it's going to deal with all these different derivatives and the things that caused us so many problems. They're going to be regulated now. They should have been. I mean, there was too much money out there. Nobody had any idea what was happening with it. And so I think, and listen, we have a debate going. Do we have a single agency now, or do we have several agencies? I'm a person who worries a little bit about too much power with one group. I like little checks and balances. I think it's always a good process. But a lot of people don't like the different agencies because there's different rules and regulations. But I think clearly a lot of the faults that went on with the last economic meltdown will be dealt with this legislation. And the other big thing, I'm glad you mentioned the point that people are very upset about, is this idea that we bailed out Wall Street and now they're making billions of dollars in bonuses. That's our taxpayer money. People are very, and I believe rightfully so. I think we should have negotiated. It's easy for me to be sitting here today, but I think when we negotiated this investment of capital, your taxpayer money, we should have done a better job of making sure we got the upside. When Bill Clinton did the Mexican bailout, it was very controversial. I think like 70% of Americans were against it. President Clinton did it, Bob Rubin, and very controversial to do it, but it was the right thing to do because if Mexico went down, it really would have created our economy, being such a big trading partner. At the end of the day, we made a fortune on that. But we negotiated a great deal. We got all our money back, and we doubled our money. That was great. We should have done the same thing on this. These Wall Street firms, I shouldn't be giving any bonuses out until all of our money's back, and we've made a good rate of return. We took the risk with your money. And people were rightfully angry. They don't want to read about all these firms, Goldman Sachs, billions of dollars. I mean, they were on the verge of collapse, but for taxpayer money. So I don't like it either. And they have a reason to be angry.
Is there something else you would propose that we do about this, as opposed to what's in the current bill?
Adding more? No. I mean, I haven't read the whole bill. I mean, I've just read what's been in the papers. I mean, I know Chris Dodd and Barney Frank. I mean, I think they've done both respectively in their chambers a great job of writing this legislation. I'm one also, though, who believes that, there's, you're pushing the balloon, gets pushed back. We always have to be careful when we regulate in the times of a crisis that you don't go too far. Last thing I ever want is for us to ever have to stifle economic growth. We want to make sure it's all. But you always have to be careful in the heat of a big moment that, could you over-regulate? I don't know. We want to make sure that we continue. We need economic growth in this country. So how we do with economic growth, where it's fair, is I think what we all want.